All right. Now it says I'm live. Apparently, I'm live on air. Live on YouTube air. What's up, YouTube? How's it going, everybody? Doing a nice little Sunday Q&A session. This was a late notice one, so we didn't get to send out an email to give you guys forewarning. So I apologize to anybody who's watching this later and didn't get to catch it live. If you want to catch the next one live on YouTube, all you got to do is sign up for the newsletter on our website. So if you go to the website, primaledgehealth.com, you just sign up for the newsletter. I think it's a bar on the right-hand side. I'll have to confirm with Jessica later on, but pretty sure you just sign up, the little bar on the right-hand side, and you'll get notified before these if we give ourselves proper notice as well. Bella Knight from Sacramento, what's up? Jody Johns Williams, Sarah Messenger. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you may be. I guess if you're in Sacramento, even if you're on the Pacific Coast, it is still the afternoon right now. Garland Barber. Oh, there's a great first comment. Great first comment. Other than the beautiful hellos from all the lovely people out there, Garland says, just made a batch of Jessica's flatbread. So legit, man. Send her my thanks. Hello from Alaska. Thanks for your great advice last week from Chris Counterstrike. What's up, Chris Counterstrike? And Garland, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate the nice comment. The keto flatbreads, can't even get it out. I get all giddy just thinking about them, are delicious. That's one of the recipes that I eat the most from my wife's first cookbook, the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, a training manual for low carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. And yeah, it's one of my favorite recipes. It's super versatile, right? Like you can make, we call them keto flatbreads, but they can be pancakes. If you've got kids who are eating a carbohydrate-based diet, or a diet that's includes more carbohydrates, rather, like our daughter, she eats a lot of fatty foods, but also she eats more carbohydrates. We don't have her on a ketogenic diet like Jessica and I both prefer to be on most of the year. So she really likes the keto flatbreads with honey on them. Just take some nice local wildflower honey that we get from some people up in the mountains behind us, and we slather those things on there, and they're just healthy, delicious pancakes. You could also use those keto flatbreads as a bun for a burger, or just like a sandwich, I mean, some sort of you could use it like you use any flatbread or naan bread or something like that. Jake Jensen, what's up? David Tall, Dolo Inc., and Manil. Bunch of people dropping in. What's up, everybody? David says, hey, love your channel. So what extent is it useful to stay in a fasted state before eating fat in the day? That's it. All right, so you're asking me, I'm not sure what you're asking. To what extent is it useful to stay in a fasted state before eating fat in the day? It's all about context, my friend. I mean, there's different contexts, right? There's different contexts for why people would be eating whatever macros they're going to be eating. So I'm not sure exactly what your question is, but thank you for asking it. Hi, Tristan. Does a carb night reset leptin levels? And if so, how frequent should you do them? From South Africa, thanks. Rais Saint from South Africa. My leafy. Mind leafy, is that how you say it? My very poor Afrikaans. Yeah, carb nights. How often do you need them? You never need them. I'll make it very easy for you. You don't need these carb refeeds. These are clever marketing techniques. You make a diet book. You give people some pretty good information. Then you kind of give them some information that would be true and might work for a certain population, a certain subset of the population. But 90% of the people are going to take that information, the information of, oh yeah, you can eat like carbs one night a week and be fine, not really going to mess with your progress too much, and it might even be good for you. You could justify it with certain data points that I would probably disagree with. But You put like a donut on the cover of your diet book, and you tell people they get to lose weight while eating donuts and just binging. So basically, you're selling people the idea that they can change their body composition. They can change the way that their body functions and is manifested in the physical realm, which is a direct result of how we use it and the habits that we formed and the way we interact with our environment. That's what creates our body. That's what creates the way that we express genetics, epigenetics, they call it now. These are all just words for, how your body manifests, how your body is. So you tell people on the idea that they can change that. They can change their body without changing their habits or their relationship to their environment or their relationship with food. And it's silly. It's sad that so many of us are, vulnerable to these sweet little sugar-coated half-truths that usually end up not working for anybody. These carb nights, as you call them. Other people will call them carb days. Some people will call them cheat days. They're completely unnecessary. They're not going to help you. And I'd say 95% of the people, to 95% of the people, they would be very detrimental. So you don't need the carb nights. You don't need the carb days. You don't need refeeds. And one night of increased caloric intake, whether it's from fat or carbohydrate or protein, is not enough to reset leptin levels and to increase your metabolism. So it's going to take you at least 3 to 5 days at eating above or at maintenance level after you've intensely downregulated your metabolism, after your metabolism has slowed down from extreme dieting. So you've downregulated it. It takes like 3 to 5 days to actually reset leptin levels. And that's not carbohydrate dependent. Leptin is not carbohydrate dependent. Leptin is not carbohydrate dependent. Say it with me now. Leptin is not carbohydrate dependent. I don't know where people come up with these things, but one person will say something, then 3 other people will hear what they say and say, that sounds pretty cool. Those 3 other people will start to say the same thing without doing any research or ever questioning the dogma. And then we end up with the internet. Thousands of people who are so sure of everything, including myself, right? Like, look, I'm just telling you what my experience is. But in my experience, I work with hundreds of clients all the time. I work with dozens of clients every week, formulating diets and helping them out. So I see the common mistakes that people make. One of the most common mistakes people make are thinking, I need these carb night things, or I need these cheat day things. I got 100 pounds to lose. I lost 5 pounds. I had some pretty hard work, some nitty-gritty hard work, staying away from the pastries, staying away from these foods, but I did really good. So now it's time to reward myself. And how am I going to reward myself? By engaging with the habits that got me out of shape in the first place, which is what I'm trying to correct. So in other words, I got this goal, and I've been doing so well in moving towards that goal. But I'm going to pat myself on the back every once in a while by completely derailing my progress towards that goal and feeding the habits that keep me unable to attain that goal and maintain that goal. And that sounds like a good idea to me. What the hell am I even talking about? Who am I talking to? Okay. I hope that makes sense. It was all just psychobabble. All right. Has Jess ever had a batch of keto muffins / bread come out with an ammonia taste? No. What did you add to it? Keto muffins, bread. I don't know, man. Like, we got some weird coconut flour or something like that. Jessica, can you hear me? Jessica's not here. She's in the bathroom. Ariana heard me. I don't know. I'll try to get to that question later. That's not something I've ever heard or noticed in all of our keto baking days. Arjun Raj Kaher says, love your channel from India. What's up? My Indian brethren. How's it going, Arjun? Thank you. From South America. From South America to India. From the Andes to the Himalayas. Kind of cool. Very similar structurally in like the craggedness, the crustiness of those mountains, right? Jessica, somebody's asking. Here's Jessica, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome, Jessica and Ryder. You guys look fabulous. Look at Ryder. What are you doing, Ryder? What are you doing, Ryder? You're so awesome. What about Ariana? Ariana wants attention too. What's up? What about you? #1 star of her show, Ariana. Okay, wait. Let me finish answering the question. This is not going to become we just coo at each other in front of the camera session. All right. Somebody is asking, whoa, out of focus, out of focus. Focus camera. There we go. Somebody's asking if you ever had an ammonia smell when you're making like stuff that uses coconut flour, keto baking.
No.
Like, what is he cooking with urine instead of water?
The only ammonia I can think of is when we experimented with the kidneys. Right?
Yeah, if you're like
learning about organ meats and trying to figure out the.
Now you're gonna turn them off to organ meats.
No, you just need to know how to do it right.
Yeah, I know that kidney's not that good. Also,
yeah,
kidney's just like not that good. But liver's fantastic.
Yeah.
And heart is really, really good. But kidney, not so much.
It only has the ammonia because of kidneys. But if you soak them properly and you maybe soak them in milk too, that helps enhance, make them nice.
What's up, Brandon?
I don't know. Maybe the flour's expired.
Yeah. You got something up with one of the products that you're using, man. Get some fresher stuff. Sorry we couldn't clear the air for you better. All right. I noticed your wife Pittsburgh. Oh, Thomas Mulholland from Pittsburgh. What's up? Denise from Louisiana. How's it going? Mike, what's up, man? Mike says, I can keep carbs extremely low for weeks on end and still won't show ketone levels over 0.5, experimenting with reduced protein intake, but no major change / increased weight loss. Oh, Mike, you've come to the right place. You come to the place where I'm going to probably tell you the complete opposite of what other people are telling you. But I'll explain it to you and it'll make sense at least. I'm not just going to repeat crap that other people say. All right, so ketones are a byproduct of fat metabolism. When you cut carbs low enough, you'll be forced to burn fatty acids. Your body can take those fatty acids and make something called ketones out of them. Those ketones are made in the liver. You can measure your blood ketone levels by measuring your levels of beta hydroxybutyrate, which technically isn't even a ketone body. It's something else. But for simplicity's sake, so you can measure your blood beta hydroxybutyrate levels. 1 second. All right, you can measure your blood beta hydroxybutyrate levels. That'll tell you if you're in ketosis or not. Everything above 0.5 is ketosis. So yeah, ketones are the byproduct of the breakdown of fatty acids. But just because you create ketones when you're burning fatty acids, when you're breaking down fats, and when you're burning fat as your main source of fuel, aka ketosis, just because ketones equals fat burn doesn't mean that more ketones equals more fat burn, and doesn't mean you can't burn fat without ketones. Ketones are not the only biomarker to use when you're trying to lose body fat. A lot of people have problems getting into ketosis early on. There's all kinds of theories on why this happens, why some people become insulin resistant. But you know what? When you do lose body fat, the insulin resistance subsides. You get rid of that adipose tissue, especially visceral fat, and the insulin resistance goes away. So it's kind of a chicken or egg situation, right? Is the insulin resistance caused by the obesity? Is the obesity caused by the insulin resistance? Well, I don't think either one. I think either one would be oversimplifying. So more ketones does not equal more fat loss. Continue what you're doing. If you feel good, you're doing well. If you're losing body fat, you're doing well. But if you're just trying to go for ketones, then what are the first things that people will tell you to do? Okay, so I'm not producing enough ketones. Therefore, I'm going to make the assumption that I'm not burning my own fat and making progress. That's a wrong assumption. I've already stated that. You can burn fat without being in ketosis. You can lose fat on a high carb diet. It doesn't matter. Like you really, ketosis is not the only way to fat loss. But like, why does this guy say this? I thought he's a proponent of ketosis. I am a proponent of ketosis. I'm also a proponent of logic and reason and not just repeating things that other people say because we think they sound good. You've got to look deeper into this stuff. More ketones does not equal more fat loss. Too many people chasing ketones, and then they end up cutting their protein too low. So that you're cutting down, you're eating a bunch of fat. And you're cutting your carbs super low. You might get micronutrient deficiencies if you're just eating like a few little iceberg lettuce for my carbs. It's usually what people end up doing. So they're afraid of the carbs. And then they're looking, well, why can't I get into ketosis? I'm not making progress. I'm eating 250 grams of fat a day. 250 grams of fat a day, which, you know, for some people, that's more than their daily energy expenditure. That's more calories than they even need. And there's not even any protein counted there yet. So you need 250 grams of fat a day. I up my fat. I'm still not in ketosis when I wake up in the morning. So I'm not making progress. So you're eating so much exogenous fat. You're eating an exogenous fuel source. Instead of being able to burn your own body fat, you're just eating a bunch of fat. Then you're cutting your protein even lower, so your body's stressing out, starving for amino acids. You're cutting your protein down to starvation level. You're going for like a medical ketogenic diet when really you're looking for fat loss. So you've got to understand you're not on a medical ketogenic diet. You probably don't need 200 plus grams of fat every single day if you have 100 pounds to lose. Very, very simple. So you're probably eating too much fat. You're probably cutting your protein. You've proven to yourself that you're unnecessarily cutting down protein because you're wearing yourself out. You're feeling worse and worse, and you're still not getting results. Protein, no matter what diet you're on, is the most important macronutrient to eat. I repeat, even on a ketogenic diet, your protein is a goal. Get your protein in. Don't go super, super low on protein thinking that if I just chase these ketones, I'm going to get results. It doesn't work like that. I'm so sorry to say. It's disappointing because we've been told this by so many people, these gurus out there talking about, yeah, you need more higher ketones equals more results. But that's not how it works. You can push up ketones by eating a bunch of fat. If you eat a bunch of fat, you're not going to burn your own body fat. Simple as that. If you're eating too little protein, you're going to be stressed out. You're not going to be repairing properly. You can't create a human growth hormone. You can't create, you need to create a certain amount of glucose. Gluconeogenesis is not something to be afraid of. It's going to ruin my ketosis and ruin my fat loss, make me store fat. Gluconeogenesis is not to be feared. Your body regulates it. It's tightly regulated, even in diabetics. All right, there's the rant. Stop chasing ketones. Look at your results. Get your protein down. Make sure you're getting sufficient protein. Don't go way over. You don't need more than 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass. It's lean body mass. It's not your total weight. 0.8 pounds of lean body mass is the max you're going to need on protein. No real use in going higher than that, except in specific circumstances when it's all about context, like I said before. And then fat makes up the energy portion of the diet. And if you want to create a deficit, you create it with the fats. Keep your carbs below 30 grams. Very simple. Hope that helps, man. Keep it up, Mike. All right. What about thyroid function and low carb? When I drop carbs, I start to get real cold in both hands and feet. Will it get better over time, you think? Yeah, this is a common question. It's a very common question. Now, here's the question. When you cut carbs out, are you cutting out and creating a huge deficit? Because thyroid is not dependent on carbohydrates. I'll say that. Your thyroid doesn't need carbs to function. Your thyroid doesn't. You know what it needs? It needs iodine. So you need to get iodine dietarily. Most of us are depleted in it. But it doesn't need carbohydrates. So a lot of people, when they start a diet, their thyroid will decrease because they're cutting their calories way down. The thermogenic effect decreases. The body wants to idle lower. You're not burning as much fuel. It slows down a bit, your metabolism. So if you're starving yourself, no matter what diet you're on, the thyroid will decrease. Now, it's a deeper issue. There's a lot of things going on there. Carbs are not required for thyroid, though. Krilzo, thanks for the comment. Dolo, INC. Down 105 pounds in 10 months of strict keto. Strict keto. It's a strong word, right? Strict keto. I bet it wasn't that hard, though. You use the word strict. 105 pounds in 10 months. Reversed diabetes with no medication. Dolo Inc. Congratulations. I wish I knew your real name because then it would sound better. Congratulate you, but that's awesome. That is really, really cool. Congrats. All right, let's see. Denise Chestnut from Louisiana. How's it going? David Tawil. Rickety Cricket. How often do you recommend eating organ meats? Well, we talked about kidney earlier. See, I'm not a big fan of kidney. But like organ meats, what are you talking about organ meats? I mean, you can have heart like every day. You could. I'm not saying you should. There's no reason not to. There's no reason to avoid it. Well, let's talk about organ meats, right? So most of us, the foods that we're accustomed to, we're looking at lean cuts of muscle meat. But in the rest of the natural world, when an apex predator makes a kill, when they've got a source of meat, they kill an animal, the apex predators usually go for the livers and the hearts, the brains. They go for the organs first. And why is that? Because they're far more nutrient dense than the muscle meats. Liver contains loads of vitamin A. Also can store a lot of vitamin D. You get vitamin K2 from some of these things. They're very important fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin D, that you're not going to find other places, that you will find in abundance in organ meats. Now, liver, all right, now here's one. There's a lot of vitamin A in liver. So, yeah, of course, give the warning, I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. You shouldn't listen to anything I say. If you believe anything I say, or whatever, blah, blah. FDA has to approve everything that anybody says for it to be true. Okay. I'm not a doctor. It's not medical advice. Talk to your doctor if you want medical advice. What am I even talking about now? Liver. Okay, vitamin A. So you get too much vitamin A from liver. Some people say you want to, make sure you only eat liver a few ounces a week. I'm just saying, like, personal experience, I've eaten more liver than that and enjoyed it and felt fine. You can eat organ meats pretty often. How often should you? I mean, it's, if you're into them, if you really like them a lot, then have them a few times a week. Heart is fantastic. I like to get ground beef heart mixed in with ground beef. It's like 50-50 mix. I mix those together and make meatballs, or just cook it up like ground beef in some butter with some coconut oil, with like an infused herb butter. You can use one of the infused oil recipes, the infused herb butter recipes from the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. There's an entire section showing you how to infuse fats, how to use certain herbs and spices and infuse fats, so then you can cook with it and you've got it made in bulk right there, so you can simplify your meal prep time. Pretty awesome. So you check out that section. There's also an entire section about organ meats, how to use organ meats, how to use liver, how to properly prepare it, how to properly cook it, how to properly use heart, prepare heart. I mean, organ meats are really, really delicious. Our daughter loves liver. I mean, I remember she would beg for it. She would love it. She doesn't like it so much anymore. Now she's almost 5. She doesn't eat it so often, but she used to beg us for it. So these are really nutrient dense, good foods. Is there a limit to how much you can have? Do a little bit more research, see what's out there about the vitamin A and the liver, stuff like that. But you can eat quite a bit of this stuff, especially heart. Heart you can eat plenty of. Heart's got a lot of coenzyme Q10. Here's a tip. Take Jessica's Mama's Best Meatballs recipe from the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. And the cookbook is available exclusively at primaledgehealth.com. If you hear me referencing recipes and you're wondering where to find them, you can find them in the cookbook, the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, on primaledgehealth.com. That's the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, a training manual for low-carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. You take 50% heart, 50% beef, and you make Mama's Best Meatballs from the Ketogenic Edge cookbook from the lovely Jessica, my amazing wife, and enjoy. Really, really good. You can make those in bulk, and you can bring them to work with you and heat them up at work. You can make them in bulk and just heat them up on the stove whenever you're going to eat them. But you could also use those keto flatbreads, make meatball sandwiches. And you can make your own sauce. There's an entire section of sauces. I mean, the cookbook is ridiculous. It really is a training manual. It teaches you how to formulate meals, how to create well-formulated ketogenic meals, and basically equips you with everything you need to just become a really good keto chef. And it's not that hard. It's not that simple. It's not this esoteric process. You just got to learn a few things. We've been doing this for a long time, so we get to actually, share all the knowledge that we've distilled into this book with you guys. So, yeah, try that recipe. You'll like it. It's a good way to get in some organ meats. Shani says, are your children also eating keto? We have a 4-year-old who's almost 5 and a 6-month-old. Neither one is on a ketogenic diet. They both eat high-fat foods. Our 6-month-old just mostly drinks breast milk. But our 4.5-year-old, she eats all our keto foods, and then she likes to eat honey, and she eats fruit, and carbohydrates, more carbohydrates than we do. But yeah, there's no reason to put a kid on a ketogenic diet, in my opinion, unless they've got some serious issues going on, like epilepsy, cancer, or something like that. But no, there's nothing wrong with carbohydrates. I'm not afraid of them, and yeah, they're legitimate foods, especially when you live in a place where you've got a long light cycle. Carbs grow when the season is long, when the days are long, rather. So they grow in the spring and in the summer. They grow when there's high photonic energy, when there's a lot of light, a lot of powerful sunlight. They create sugars out of that UV light, transform that light into edible food. There's nothing wrong with it. It's when we live in this society that gives us access to these highly refined carbohydrates that are like super palatable, super sweet, and very, very energy, calorie dense, and very easy to eat a lot of. And you can just go to any corner store and get them. That's the problem. We have overabundance and overfeeding. It's like, and the carbs are the easy one to overfeed on, because it's just, when you get those carbs, we're triggered to go for them, to gorge, because they're only available seasonally. When you find a stash of fruit, when you find a big old bush full of berries, are you going to eat it, like eat a few and then save some for tomorrow, eat a few, save some for the next day? No, because they go bad. You got to eat those things. You gather them, you gorge on them. They're for fattening you up, so that when it is a time of lack, and like the winter, there aren't these foods around, then you've got stored fat to burn, or you can, hunt other animals and eat them, use that fat to burn. But we're seasonal eaters. Not anymore, but nothing wrong with carbs. And our kids will not be on keto. We won't force them on a keto diet. Thanks for the protein rant. Needed to hear that, says Jessica Johnson. Yeah, so many people get duped into lowering protein to try to boost up them ketones, and it doesn't help, because you're listening to people and don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, you don't want to vastly overeat protein, but on a ketogenic diet for fat loss, we're not chasing blood ketones. We don't need to be artificially elevating blood ketones all the time by eating as much fat as we can. It doesn't help. And cutting protein back is never the solution to not losing fat. Protein is a very important macronutrient. Of course, if you eat way too much protein, you will be oxidizing the amino acids, and you're not going to get into ketosis. But energy balance still matters, and you can lose fat on a high carb diet too. So I don't know. There's so much nitpicking and all this about it. I just try and make it simple. Get sufficient protein. Don't go crazy on the protein. Don't overdo it. Stay in a nice, safe ketogenic range with the protein, which is not that hard, and you'll be fine. All right. Tristan, I'm still waiting on that nerding out video on autophagy and fasting. James Shannon, what's up, man? I don't know, man. I'm not thinking about it right now. Like, I can nerd out in other directions. It's not fresh in my mind, is what I'm saying. You gotta pique my interest in this. Get me to try to dive in mentally and intellectually, eat some of this stuff up some more. But yeah, it's not fresh in my mind. Autophagy is amazing. There's some interesting research on it. It's only recently coined. The term is not very old. It's a new term. And fasting is obviously very powerful. But yeah, I don't know. That's not where my mind's at right now. Can't get too nerdy on it at the moment. All right, what's the best way to reduce body fat when starting to increase activity while training for a duathlon/triathlon? Started keto a month and a half ago. Started training a month ago. Wanted to lose body fat. All right, so you started keto and then you started training. Yeah, I don't know anything about your situation, right? But I'll say this. If you're well adapted to the diet, which 2 weeks is, let's see, started training started keto a month and a half, started training a month. So you did 2 weeks of keto and started training hard for a duathlon, triathlon. You might be pushing it a little hard, but trying to lose fat, just try to regulate the stress. Don't go too nuts with it. The triathlon, duathlon, pentathlon, quintathlon, these are harsh on the body. So don't stress yourself out too much. Sorry, let me turn there we go. Don't stress yourself out too much. Don't go too nuts on it. Ease into the training. probably need a little bit more caloric intake if you're training so heavily. So probably going to have to increase your calories, and that's going to be energy calories from fats. Make sure you're getting enough protein. You might want to boost your protein up 10, 15 grams because of the heavy training that you're going to be doing. And just don't burn yourself out. You better learn to listen to your body and listen when you need rest days. Don't just smash yourself into the ground, because stress from exercise can be just as bad as stress from missing sleep, as just as bad as stress from having a crappy job, or stress from feeling guilt and shame all day because you do things that you shouldn't do. It's all the same thing. It's burden that we carry. It's weight you carry psychologically, spiritually, that you don't need to. So don't beat yourself up into the ground. That's all I'll say on that one. Increase your calories for energy from fats, and just watch your progress and track what you're doing. If you're just eating whatever you want ad libitum in training and you're not losing weight, then you're not losing fat rather, how are you going to know what to adjust? So you got to kind of track. You got to track how much fat you're eating, how much protein you're eating, and you start adjusting as necessary. All right. Let's see. Okay. Carrie S. What's up, Haggards? At work today, checking out PEH, Primal Edge Health. As always, excellent info. Our family always enjoys Primal Edge Health live hangouts. The instruction manual is excellent. Rock on, guys. Peace. Carrie, thank you so much. You're so supportive. You're the one whose husband, you're always telling me that your husband goes nuts with the maca, right? Like his libido is too much when he takes maca. That's pretty funny. Thanks for the shout out, Carrie. Have a good one at work. Are you at work? Yeah, you said you're at work. Get back to work. You're watching this crazy guy talk about nothing. Go work. Super Kahoy. I live off bone broth now. Thank you. Cool. You get the bone broth recipe from the cookbook. We got just the basic, simple, really good, always works bone broth recipe in there, and it's also on the YouTube channel too. Yeah, bone broth is cool. I like it. Our 6-month-old son, has actually been eating bone broth. He likes to play with it. It's very sensory. Squeezes in his hands, puts it in his mouth, eats a little bit of it. It's pretty cute. All right. Here's a question. Karat Rodrigo, what's up? I really got zero appetite on keto, and I'm afraid of being on a crash diet. Every time I eat, I want to throw up. Any tips? Every time you eat, you want to throw up? That sounds not very fun. Whatever you're doing, maybe it's not for you. If you're like throwing up, whatever you're doing, that's like you should be eating foods that taste good, foods that you enjoy, foods that you can make regularly and enjoy regularly. Don't do it. You feel like you're describing, you're not going to stick with it long term. So maybe you should look at doing something else. Change up your program, what you're doing. Learn how to properly make really good ketogenic meals. How about that? Check out Jessica's cookbook. Check out the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. Broaden your horizons and actually learn how to become a more proficient chef. So yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one to answer. No appetite. You feel like puking every time you eat. Eat something totally different. All right. Lewis Brown, all the best from Germany. Man, huge fan of your videos. Thanks, Lewis Brown. Shouting out from Germany. From Germany to Ecuador. They say the Andes are a lot like the Alps. I don't know. I've never been in the Alps. But they say that they're very similar. I've been doing keto for 16 months. Down 301 pounds. What? 46 years old. Very easy to do. Steven, can you please clarify that? Are you really down 301 pounds in 16 months? That's like the most fat loss I've ever heard of. It sounds impossible. Tell me that's a typo. Super Koi says, I always hear that keto is good for the brain, but in what way? What does that even mean? That's a great question. All right. So they find in Alzheimer's patients that they do have issues with glucose uptake in the brain. So they kind of coined this new term like type 3 diabetes. They're calling Alzheimer's. And I don't know if I really agree with it. We'll get into this stuff deeper with, I'm not going to go too deep into it now, but let's talk about brain chemistry. So you've got all these neurotransmitters. You got excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters. Excitatory neurotransmitters can kind of fry out the brain. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that is neuroprotective. So it'll protect your brain from things that are highly excitatory, that'll fry out your brain, like glutamate. Like glutamate, people get that MSG, was Chinese food syndrome or whatever they call it. But MSG and glutamate can be really reactive in the brain. Very reactive. GABA is inhibitory. It calms and soothes the brain. So it kind of promotes a state of relaxation, of calm, of tranquility, of peacefulness. So GABA is upregulated in ketosis. When you're in ketosis, your GABA increases and it feels nice. GABA is a very, very powerful neurotransmitter, and it is protective, very neuroprotective. Also, ketones themselves seem to have anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective properties. Inflammation, chronic inflammation throughout the body also manifests in the brain. So everyone talks about the gut-brain axis now. You've got the vagus nerve that runs from the gut straight up to the brain. And the brain is affected by inflammation in the gut. So you decrease inflammation using a diet or using lifestyle interventions, deep breathing, whatever it is you're doing. You're reducing inflammation, you're changing your environment, maybe getting away from certain environmental stressors. Your inflammation goes down, the inflammation in the brain goes down, and you just feel better. Depression is also associated with inflammation. So people who have inflamed bodies and inflamed brains also tend to have depression. And you treat one or the other, you'll get interesting outcomes. So depression, inflammation, brain health and inflammation levels all tied in together. GABA also is very powerful. So there's a few little leads for you to do some more research and understand deeper what I'm actually talking about. Go check the things that I'm saying, fact check it, look this up for yourself, explore this for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Experiment. You just take people's word for everything. If everybody does that, you end up with a world, the world like we have today. All right. Narthesis. Cool name. Narthesis. It sounds like someone with a narcissistic lisp. Narcissus. Hello there. I'd like to know your opinion on dairy products, mainly sour cream or whipped cream. Do you recommend eat it on daily basis? Narcissus. There's nothing wrong inherently with dairy. If you're allergic to dairy, avoid it. If you're trying to lose body fat, sometimes these hyperpalatable dairy foods can make it really easy to overeat. So if it's a trigger food for you, maybe you're best avoiding it. But in and of itself, dairy is not bad. There's nothing wrong with dairy inherently. If you like dairy, you can moderate your intake of it. It's fine. If you're allergic to it, avoid it like the plague. If it creates an inflammatory response in you, avoid it. But there's nothing wrong with it inherently. All right. What do you think about Manuka honey? Hey, I'm a big fan of honey. Manuka honey, cool. My daughter's walking by. She's hollering, me too. All right, Manuka honey. It's this supposedly special honey that's been researched. And it's a honey from New Zealand. What do I think about Manuka honey in specific? I had this conversation with a friend of mine. I'm all about, I really like local foods, right? Like artisan foods. I'm a huge fan of wherever I'm living at the time of eating the local honey from wild bees. Like just delicious local honey. It's the essence of these plants distilled and fermented and turned into an edible substance in this amazing alchemical process by these incredible, highly intelligent, hive-minded creatures. It's amazing. Honey is an incredible food. Just like if you just thinking about what it is, just what it's profound, it's incredible, it's completely magical. Manuka honey supposedly is like the superior honey. It's got all these amazing superior qualities. My hunch is that Manuka honey might not be as special as everyone says it is. I think that all wildflower honey can have very, very potent properties. There's so many different types of honey all over the world. It's not like just this one spot in New Zealand. They're the only ones who've got the good ass honey. Like that's the real stuff. That'll be super medicinal. I guarantee you the honey that we get up here from the wildflowers, the stuff that's from way up in the mountains in the Andes where you have pristine water, no pollution. I guarantee that honey's just as good as the Manuka honey. It's just been studied more. It's just like with mushrooms too, right? So you have like reishi mushroom, and it's incredible, chaga mushroom. But then there's these other mushrooms that are also highly medicinal. They just haven't been studied that much. You have like Philinus linteus, which looks very similar to chaga in traditional Chinese medicine. It gets used for like bronchial infections, and it's a very, very powerful medicinal mushroom. But it hasn't been studied like reishi or chaga has. So we don't know that, like reishi, we know that it's very, very protective of the liver. It's got these powerful anti-carcinogenic compounds in it. Triterpenes, polysaccharides, these amazing compounds that create these reactions in the body. They're very good. We don't know this, but we don't really know so much about other mushrooms, even like turkey tail, right? We know it's very effective against certain types of cancer, but it hasn't been studied as much as reishi or chaga. And that just comes down to like money. Who's going to put money into studying this random honey that I can get from the mountains of Ecuador? Or whatever honey you can get, like this wildflower honey you get in Northern California that's just delicious and amazing. It's got, just tastes like medicine. You feel it in your throat. These things just haven't been studied yet. So yeah, Manuka honey, probably awesome. I've tasted it. It's great. But do I think it's like super, super special and that there's no other honey that can compare? Very, very skeptical of that. All right. Hey, mate, the live chat thing is awesome. I'm going to hit you up with 2 questions. Greedy, I know. What are your thoughts on keto and a muscle building program? Cool. Muscle building and ketosis, totally possible. I find that I train very well in ketosis. I can still put on muscle in ketosis. But you know what? Carbohydrates are also very effective at adding mass and gaining weight. Very potent anabolic compounds. So if your goal is muscle gain, you can do it on a ketogenic diet, but you might be better suited eating more carbohydrates if that's your main goal. That being said, I think I gain muscle just as easily on like a pure ketogenic diet as I do with carbohydrates. So there you go. Keto, muscle building. As far as like what to do. So the energy portion of the diet is coming from fats. That's what you would increase. Maybe increase the protein by like 10 to 20 grams, but you don't need that much more protein. You need more fats for energy to build and rebuild the muscle as you're training. So those are some thoughts on that. All right. Thomas Mitaras. Man, I'm not going crazy, right? Been in keto for a while now. My goal is to get lean, around visible abs lean. I've been eating like 3,000 calories on average. I'm still losing weight. It's crazy. Hey, you got a good metabolism, my friend. Keep it up. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to lose body fat on 3,000 calories on a ketogenic diet, but you are not crazy. You're just getting results. Keep getting them. Good work, my friend. Congratulations. Good morning from Sydney. Hey, Alexander. Good morning over in Sydney. Irish knuckle dragger. Irish knuckle dragger. You freaking knuckle dragger. What's up, man? I'm ready to get some coaching. You set up meal plans to dial in macros? Question. At this point, I want someone to just lay it all out for me. I'm down 25 pounds. I'm going to drop another 20. All right, man. So go to the website. You actually go to the, all right, so description of this video. If you scroll down, you look at the description, there will be a link to the coaching section of the website. Just go there, check out the structure. That's how it works. Yeah, I do meal plans, dial in macros. I like to talk to clients, and we do 1 month or 3 month packages. So hit me up. We can get started, man. We can take a look, dial you in, and just basically give you the tools you need so that you can move forward and do this on your own. You got 20 more pounds to lose. You're already down 25. Congratulations. Keep it up. What you're doing is obviously working. But if you do want to dial it in, thanks for thinking of me. You can hit me up on the coaching section of the website, and we'll try to get you in, if we can, this week. Will you lose muscle when your protein and exercise is high, but on 30 to 40 calorie deficit while on keto? Yeah, if you're on a 40% calorie deficit on any diet, you're probably going to lose muscle. When your protein and exercise is high, I don't know. I mean, it's just context. Try it. See. You're going to think you lost muscle regardless because You lose fat, your muscles aren't so full. You get super lean, you're not so full, unless you got a little help from your friends, like some exogenous hormones. Then you stay more full, look really big and jacked, and be super shredded. And so there's some genetic outliers who can get very, very lean, like single-digit body fat lean, true single-digit body fat lean, not YouTube single-digit body fat lean. Talking about real, like ridiculous, 9% body fat is ridiculously lean, true 9%. True 6%, 5% body fat, truly, that's like death. That's like you're about to die. It's like the next meal you skip, your heart might stop. You might die. Will Warburton, what's up, man? Will from Cape Cod checking in. I'm in an airport waiting on my plane to Ecuador. Going to check out. What's up, Will? In the airport. Which airport are you at, man? Are you at Miami? Miami or Fort Lauderdale? In like a transfer. You probably flew out from New Jersey to Miami, then Ecuador. That's awesome, man. Have fun on your trip. You got my email. James, if you're adapted, then no, because the state of ketosis is muscle sparing, but you must be adapted first. Look, yeah, ketosis can be. All right, so these are the, James, thank you for the comment. And your logic is correct, right? So we know that ketones spare muscle, that a ketogenic diet is muscle sparing. But that doesn't mean that a ketogenic diet with intense exercise with a big calorie deficit will spare all muscle. It just means that ketones have an inhibition, an inhibiting effect on muscle wasting. Ketones help spare muscle. It doesn't mean they will spare all muscle, right? So this is the thing with the internet. People say things and then they repeat them, and then the telephone game, like you whisper something in someone's ear and then the message changes along the way. The context gets removed, extremes get added onto it, and all kinds of stuff happens. And then further down the line, people are all confused about it and they've lost the original essence of it. But yeah, James, adapting to ketosis will make you more prone to maintaining lean muscle mass, but that doesn't mean you don't lose it. Like if you fast for 5 days, you're going to lose lean muscle mass. You will. Sorry. It's just, that's how it works. It may not be like a lot of muscle mass, but you're going to lose some. All right. Alexander Bork. Thoughts on getting seniors on a ketogenic diet? Motivation? Exogenous ketones? Get her moving? There you go. That's a great question, man. Exogenous ketones. I don't know. Don't know what to say about those. They seem like in that case, they could be beneficial for, an elderly individual who is, elderly. Yeah, exogenous ketones could be useful, but motivation for getting them on a ketogenic diet. I think that if you give them some exogenous ketones and it helps them cognitively and they can feel it, then you can tell them, look, you can maintain this state very easily with some simple dietary modifications. These are the foods you eat, delicious. Show them how to make some high-fat meals using the foods that they like, that they eat, modify their diet slightly, and move forward from there. But as far as like motivation across the board, everybody's motivated by different things. It's like to motivate me is very different than motivating my wife or motivating my daughter. So it's an individual basis. You got to really know the person you're trying to motivate. But show them love. Show them what you do. Show them how to do it right. Give them some good foods, sardines, avocados, and maybe use some of those exogenous ketones to show them what it would feel like, and show them that this, you can get benefits from this. But I think it's a great idea, and it's really sweet that you're thinking about it. Good luck, Alexander. Will, you're in Texas. Wow. So you're flying from Houston. Cool, man. Well, enjoy the flight. Shoot me an email. Frederick John Tang. I am going to try keto, but I have experienced tummy problems when I take in a lot of fat. What is the keto flu you are talking about? I'm not talking about keto flu. Will I get used to using fat and my tummy problems will go away? All right. So you have problems digesting fats. That's not keto flu. Keto flu is lack of electrolytes. So when you're doing a ketogenic diet, make this very simple. We even teach you about electrolytes in the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. I'm off today. I'm not getting the order right. That's my wife's cookbook. She worked for over a year on it. It's got all the knowledge that we've accrued over the years of keto food prep distilled into one book that is meant to be the book that we wished we had owned when we first started on this journey ourselves. So that's why we made it. Let's see, Frederick. First of all, maybe you're eating more fat than you actually need. If you're eating like 300 grams of fat unnecessarily, then of course you're going to have problems digesting it. Give yourself a reasonable amount of fat. Focus on the protein portion of the plate. Get sufficient protein anywhere from 0.5 to 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass in protein is sufficient. Carbohydrates under 30 grams net carb for most people will get you where you need to go. And the fat makes up the energy portion of the diet. So don't go crazy on the fats. Probably need less than 200 grams of fat, regardless of what other people might tell you. I'm sorry, but it just seems to work better. I don't know. And this doesn't mean that I don't like, just because I disagree with something that somebody says, doesn't mean I'm bashing them or don't like them. Stop taking this personal. It's just, I'm stating my opinions on the facts, stating what I believe to be the facts. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm like, we're always wrong. We shouldn't be so attached. I must be right. I must appear right. I'm going to say things that will be wrong. I'm going to say things that will be proven wrong later. Let's stop this game of, I don't know, YouTube game. Don't like it. Anyways, fat. You don't need 200 grams of fat. You're probably just eating more than you need. And that's why you're having stomach problems. But you could also look into possibly using some things like ox bile salts to help you digest fats in that beginning transition phase, or just a simple broader spectrum digestive enzyme. Like Now Foods makes a decent digestive enzyme that even has ox bile salts in it, and that can help you digest fats while you're transitioning. Yes, the keto flu symptoms totally go away, especially if you make sure you're getting enough sodium, magnesium, and potassium. So make sure you're eating enough salt, heavily salt your food. Try to get at least 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt in per day. And I usually recommend supplementing with magnesium. My form that I like to use, magnesium glycinate. There's other forms that can work well as well, but there you go. That's how it's done. I hope that helps. Anya Coleman, blood ketosis, 3.5 to 4.5 millimolars in the morning. Is it bad to have too much ketones in the blood? Thanks. No, it's not bad to have too many ketones in the blood, unless you're like type 1 diabetic. You're looking at ketoacidosis, but the average individual is not going to be affected by that. I'm going to get some water real quick. Okay. So no, I mean, that's not too high. It is very high. You know, I mean, depending on what your goals are, might be higher than you want. But if you're feeling good, you're clear-headed, if you're not feeling all out of whack and wonky off that level of ketones, hey, you're probably fine. So keep it up. All right, let me pull back up here. There was another question. Is half cup brown rice okay on keto? Is 52 grams of fat too much for one meal? Context. Half a cup of brown rice. No, don't eat rice for keto. Don't eat starches. Stay away from grains and starches on keto. Vegetables. You're not looking for like carb sources. You're looking for sources of micronutrients and fiber. That's how you're looking at veggies. Sophie, show us your 6-pack. That's so funny. Definitely not. Every morning I have sardines, eggs, coconut oil, bone broth, and avocado. So happy, perfectly full for hours. No highs or lows in energy. Pure keto bliss. Thanks for the vids. Hey, that's a great meal. That's a really good, well-balanced meal. You know, I mean, the only maybe could use a little greens in there. We got the avocado for fiber. You're good. Sardines, eggs, coconut oil, bone broth, and avocado. That's pretty similar to like a common meal that I'll try to get clients to eat once a day. You know, you're getting the fish, you're getting the DHA, which the body needs. You need those lipids. You need DHA. It gets oxidized by blue light. You know, staring at the computer all day, we're oxidizing DHA in our retinas. We need to replace it. It's one of the most important lipids, the most important fats that you can eat. And you don't want to get it from fish oil pills because they're rancid, most of them. And they're not bioavailable for us because a lot of them are in the wrong position. It's got to be in the SM2 position, the DHA, to be properly absorbed and assimilated into your cell membrane. So sardines are fantastic. And I love bone broth. It's just so good. I love the taste. Sophie and Derry, pizza is all you need. What are you talking about? Pizza is all you need. Sophie's making troll comments. Hello. What's up?
I want to say hi.
Okay, who are you saying hi to?
You.
To me.
Well, you, my dad.
Your dad.
Yes.
And then who else? Who's there on the camera?
Me.
You're there. I'm there. Say hi to all the YouTube folks. Ariana likes the spotlight. She's so awesome. All right. I should wrap this up. Give Ariana some attention. She wants to dance around. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Victor. Hey, Tristan. Love your channel. I started keto before 4 weeks. I was exhausted and dizzy and added more salt and everything improved immensely. Can you talk about keto rash? I don't know. We talked about the keto rash last time. I don't know what that's from. Some people experience that. It's a funny one. Very, very small percentage of people would, when they first start keto, might break out in like a small rash. I don't know. Doesn't happen to me. I don't know what it really looks like or feels like, but it could be gut bacteria type thing, fungal imbalance, candida. There's so many different things that it could be. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend to know what it is. But yeah, it doesn't persist in those people. It usually goes away within a few days and then they feel awesome. So, but like I said so many times, like keto is not a magic wand. It's not for everybody, right? It's not the best way to do it for everybody. I like it. Works for me. All right, let's see. Alexander Burke. I'm just going to keep rolling with the questions. Desserts on a ketogenic diet. All right. Any ideas for natural keto-friendly treats? Like I said before, man, if you haven't checked out the cookbook, my wife's cookbook, the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low-carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. If you haven't checked that out yet, you've got to check out the cookbook. Also, in the coming months, we are going to be releasing a much anticipated baked goods book. Low carb, ketogenic baked goods. That's right. That's coming in the next few months. I don't know when. Don't ask me for a release date. I already tried to give one before and it was wrong. We're taking our time. We're doing it right. And just like with the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, we're taking the time, the extra care, and then putting the extra love into it to get those fine details, right? Like the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, we know that a lot of people don't like dairy. A lot of people don't do well with dairy. So in all the recipes that have dairy, we show you how to do it without dairy. And we don't use dairy in all the recipes. But in the recipes that do, we show you and tell you exactly how to remove the dairy and how to substitute in different ingredients in case you don't work well with dairy. We also show you in the book how to manipulate the macros on the recipes. And we made all the recipes fat loss friendly. We're not shoving 70 grams of fat, 50 grams of fat for everybody because we know that some people, and a lot of people, are using ketogenic diet for fat loss. So they're all fat loss friendly macros. And all the macros are listed on all the recipes. It's ridiculous. So we're taking the same care with this next one, and we're doing it right. So yeah. Evolving Aaron B's shouting out the cookbook. Thanks, Aaron. Glad you like it. All right, let's see. Victor Yakov says, thanks, Tristan, for answering. I solved the keto rash with bile salts. So there you go. You solved them with bile salts. That's an interesting result. We won't even begin to speculate on why that might have helped. All right. Frederick says, got it. But to clarify about the fat thing, Filipino food I'm exposed to is fairly fatty. Fatty pork or beef and fried. Eggs that are fried too. That type I avoid. Why? I don't know. Not sure what you're getting at there. But the crappy vegetable oils we want to avoid. So if you're going and you're eating these foods and they're fried in vegetable oil, you might want to rethink the sources of fats that you're getting because those can be highly inflammatory. And you want to avoid those high omega-6 foods, those highly inflammatory foods. Can workout dehydration through sweating cause elevated blood sugar after exercise? That's a good question. Dehydration can cause not only elevated blood sugar, but also elevated blood ketones because you're dehydrated. You got less water in the blood. The blood gets thicker. Yeah, for sure, man. Exercise. I mean, dehydration can cause all kinds of wildness. So next time, if you're playing around with your blood sugar, if you're diabetic, if it matters to you, take blood sugar before and after hydration. So like take blood sugar, then drink water, then wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hydrate yourself, and then check blood sugar and see if it changes. All right. How about root crops on keto? Cassavas, radishes, carrots. In reasonable amounts, you know, these can be fine, but like don't be going for carrot juice or beet juice. But, you know, I mean, like a few carrots in a meal fits into them macros, can be fine. But you're not trying to don't make meals out of carrots or beets or these root vegetables, potatoes and starches. Avoid the starches. All right. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I've been staring at the screen for long enough. So for everybody who joined, thanks for joining. I'm glad you guys found it. There's been more and more. If I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. Sometimes the thing just goes too fast. There's so many questions. I can't get to them all. If I have the time, I'll get to every single question and answer the best I could. So thank you to everybody for joining. Kat C, Arjun, Frederick, John Tang, Vanette Mustafa, Mark McGee, Paradoxical Axiom, Irish Knuckle Dragger. So many awesome people here with so many eclectic names. And I'm glad you guys all joined us. Thanks so much for everybody who's been leaving reviews on the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. We thank you so much. When you do get the cookbook, we would love it. You take the time to leave a review. We know it's not easy. You have to actually type it out, but we're so stoked that so many people have actually left positive reviews and taken the time out of their day to write us nice emails about it and thank us for it. We feel really honored that we're able to share this with you, and we really thank you guys for supporting this project and for enjoying it. So like I've said before, the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, a training manual for low carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine, is available exclusively on the Primal Edge Health website, and that's primaledgehealth.com. You're not going to find it on Amazon. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You're only going to find it on primaledgehealth.com. We're an independent outlet. We don't have any sponsors. We do this all ourselves, and we enjoy it. It's a little family business, and that's how we like to keep it. So thanks for enjoying the book, you guys. If you want to support the channel, go to primaledgehealth.com. Check out what we got to offer, and check out the ebook. If you like this, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it on social media, whatever you want to do with it. We hope we bring value to you guys, and we'll continue giving you guys the straight up truth or what we believe it to be. So, if you want to hear about the next live hangout that we're going to do, go to the website, go to primaledgehealth.com. On the right-hand side, there's a little bar. You can sign up for the newsletter, and we'll send you an email alert before we start. All right, guys, we will be seeing you next time. Jessica and the kids are off playing somewhere in the house, and they're not here to say goodbye, but we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We really appreciate all the support, and thanks for enjoying the book, guys. You can find the book at primaledgehealth.com. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. It is Sunday, wrapping up the day here in the Andes, and I'm hoping that it doesn't continue raining so hard, because we've had some intense mudslides in this area, and South America's been getting nailed. So wish us luck. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.